you doctor or deputy or chief or what?
I have been a deputy in about 25 years, Mr. Harpoon, but I'll answer to whatever you call me, sir.
Never read that. So, you've been, when did you start in law enforcement?
Around 93.
And you were in Orangeburg?
Yes, sir.
You know, back then, I was a solicitor in this, I was a prosecutor then. Do you remember that?
I've testified for you a couple of times, Mr.
I
Harpoon.
thought you looked familiar. You actually were my witness a couple times.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I don't know if we're gonna have much to speak today, but I'm gonna try to understand a couple things, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
So, let's understand, the wound to Paul, the two wounds to Paul. And as I understand it, you were saying that he was standing how far back when when he got shot, the strike down? For his bloody footprints to be there, those footprints had to be made after he had the shot in the chest, correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
And so, how far back in the room were those footprints?
The footprints are approximately, because I have no way, once everything was pressure washed and cleaned out, but looking at the actual crime scene photographs and then taking my own measurements, the placard, the yellow placard that's in the photographs, is approximately at 5 foot. And he was on the other side of, so he was occupying that 6 foot area.
And there were no scales in any of those pictures, were there?
There were not, no, sir.
Let me just talk about this generally before we get to that. You teach a course on crime scene processing.
Yes, sir.
You teach a course on how one should photograph a crime scene.
Yes, I do.
And I'm trying to oversimplify this. There's basically 2 or 3 things that you want on any crime scene photo. The first is a scale, correct?
Well, there's 3 types of photos. One of those includes a scale. Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, obviously you don't have a scale. It's a long shot out, like from outside the feet room to in. But for something like bloody footprints, you would want a scale.
I would. Yes, sir.
And you want multiple lighting sources so that it's well lit.
Well, if you operate the camera correctly, you have your light source, and that's why you do it from 90 degrees over perpendicular to the footprint, because you can hit all the angles and then choose the best exposure that takes those shadows out.
So if you do 90, do you recommend taking more than one shot?
Yes, sir, typically.
I mean, at different perspectives of the same item?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you recommend multiple shots, including one, gotta have one 90 degree.
If for comparison evidence, you do. Yes, sir.
And in the sense of the shoes, the shoe prints you think you saw, they were definitely Paul's shoes. You did that comparison.
Just like with the tire tread, they share class characteristics with Paul's shoes.
And were those shoes facing towards the front or the back of the feet?
When they were made, it appears they were going toward the door.
Right.
But it would be hard for me to tell you without some kind of mark on that pavement to be able to orient them.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Without a mark on the pavement or some type of landmark, it would be hard for me to orient them from the photograph.
Okay. And again, if you had a scale or multiple pictures of that one shot, I mean, straight down and multiple pictures, you could have done a little bit more in terms of that, could you not?
An examiner possibly could have, yes, sir.
And the trail of blood leads towards the front door, right?
It does.
And how long was that trail?
Well, if he was in the 6 foot and you got 3 past, 4 past him, at least 5 foot from where he starts dripping blood, then he steps in it, and then he makes his way to the door.
So you think he was a foot and a half inside the door when he got shot in the second shot?
Well, his feet were inside the door, but his shoulder and his head was slightly outside the door.
Leaning forward?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first shot, as I understand it, hit his shoulder.
The second shot is the one that hit the shoulder.
No, I'm talking about, let's talk about
The fatal one.
the fatal.
Yes, sir.
It hit his shoulder.
Yes, sir.
So based on, now you met with Dr. Reamer, the pathologist,
I did.
and she showed you her photos. Y'all talk about her photos?
I offered to go over the photos with Dr. Reamer, and she told me that she had limited crime scene experience, and that I'd have to determine that she looked at the rooms and she makes her determinations, and that wasn't really her forte.
Okay, so, but she said shot in the shoulder. I'm talking about the fatal shot.
The path, yes, sir.
Into the neck, not the top of the head.
That is correct.
Okay, so, and how, you said you had some difficulty determining Paul's height.
Well, the DMV record, the printout showed 5'6", and the autopsy information showed 5'9", and I know a young man like that will hit a growth spurt. That's not my area. So,
would you consider Dr. Reamer's measurement probably more accurate than what he told the DMV?
Or he could have grown since he registered with the DMV. Yes, sir.
So why would we just use 5'9"?
So,
I mean, is that fair?
well, but then he's got damage to the top of his head, so I asked myself, how could Dr. Reamer get it exactly right when the top portion of his head's gone? So I had to guesstimate, and I figured the best way to do it is split the two.
And the two were, so you had it what height?
DMV showed 5'6" on the printout, and Dr. Reamer showed 5'9", so I figured somewhere around 5'7.5" to 5'8".
So 5'7.5".
And then you take the foot from there to the actual wound.
Right, I guess, so where the wound occurs, the initial, I guess it's this shoulder.
Yes, sir.
How high was that?
That was approximately 4'7".
4'7".
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, give me a second here. I hadn't touched a protractor in 50 years. I've done it twice this week. Let's do, if you step down here for just a minute, please. Will you walk around with one?
Yes, sir.
Really sad. So, why don't you take this for me and I'm gonna hold I'll hold the bottom and put a dot on here at 4, wherever the shoulder, the height of the shoulder. Yeah, do the figure. Straight. Put the thing. Okay, let me just get it up here at 4. Let me do this. If you can do this one. 4 foot 6. We're saying 4'7".
Yes, sir.
You know, a lot of it. There it is. Okay, so that's 4'7", right?
Yes, sir.
And it goes straight up. Okay. And that was then the height of the wound.
That's the height of the
Done?
approximate height of the shoulder.
Get it all?
And how far he's hit.
I think it's lower.
Could be, yes, sir. Like I said, when you got a wound to that side, I would expect him to be favoring that shoulder.
Okay, so.
One last check before I see if you missed any.
You're the professional.
Well, looking at the defects on this side of the door,
Yeah.
and it's several of them there, even though they've been pressure washed. If I run a string back in the area of 4'7", somewhere in the middle.
Got 'em all. Good girl.
Angle, that's give or take.
Got 'em all.
And that's what, Dr. Reamer said in her report, 135.
I don't know if she said that in her report. Yes.
Say bye-bye. Yeah, I think she does have to go pee-pee. You gonna go pee-pees?
Like I said, a lot of variables could change.
Say bye-bye.